And today we're going to talk about religions as an introduction, and then we will dive into universal and ethnic religions later on this week. So think about how you would define religion and see if it matches up with what we're going to talk about in just a minute. So religions have been integral to society and civilizations for thousands of years. They are part of culture. They help people to define their worldview, how they look at life, how they go about their daily lives, and how they fit into their community. Recently, when people are polled, the number of people who are affiliated with a particular religion is on the decline. But there are many people who still practice a religion, even they may not say that they affiliate with an organized religion as well. But even that, so religion still is very integral to many people's lives, whether they're in a core country or a periphery country. It transcends economic situations and is very integral into how people see their lives on a daily basis. So, what is religion? Religion is a belief system and set of practices that recognizes existence of power higher than humans. It also tries to help people seek a balance mentally and physically with the powers of the universe, however you define that. So, how is religion? What does it look like on a daily basis? One, it encompasses a tradition of practices and writings and history and mythology. Some of them have, it's more of an individual experience for people. Some it's more of a collective experience as a culture that guide the religious beliefs. These rituals, some of them are daily, some of them more milestone events in people's lives, such as celebration of a birth, marriage of a couple, the death of a loved one, or the death of someone, have certain ceremonies and rituals that go with it. But also with a lot of belief systems, you have certain geographic areas or certain spots that have significance in rituals that are practiced in the religion or have a important meaning that people make a pilgrimage to. So the religion is integral in many cultures, and there are some religions such as that will be in the universal category, which we'll talk about in a minute, that transcend cultures, and their beliefs have been adopted by many people of various cultures worldwide. So if you look at this map here, we have a color scheme of many different religions that are practiced geographically all over the world. Christianity is broken down into at least 4 categories of the major branches that you have: Roman Catholicism, Protestantism, Orthodox Christianity. You also have Eastern Orthodox, Eastern Christianity as well, Islam, even broken down by the 2 sects of Sunni and Shia, which you'll see in the Middle East and Africa, Jews, Buddhism, Hinduism as well, and other belief systems. So it gives you a really good idea visually of where people live who practice the various belief systems worldwide. So let's talk about the types of religion, universal versus ethnic. First of all, universal has a wide appeal. It attracts people to their beliefs beyond various cultures and ethnic groups. There's a strong missionary effort of why these religions have such wide followers. Also, some of these people have come to these faiths because of conquering and conquest. So Christianity, Islam, Buddhism are your top 3 universal religions. In number of adherents, also Sikhism fits into this as well, more of just on how the core beliefs of the religion and how it's believed that anyone can adopt the faith and everyone is equal. You also have ethnic religions. These are religions that are identified with a particular ethnic group or tribal group. They don't actively seek converts. So Judaism, Hinduism, Shintoism practiced in Japan, a lot of your traditional religions within indigenous groups in the Americas, in Africa, in the Pacific Islands, parts of Asia would fit into the ethnic category. So within the universal ethnic, you have smaller subcategories. You have polytheistic religions that believe in one or more gods, such as voodoo, or a lot of your ancient civilization religions, such as Egypt or Greece, monotheistic religions where you worship one god or goddess. Islam, Christianity, would Judaism would fit into this category. Animistic religions that are centered on the belief of inanimate objects such as rocks, trees, plants, anything found in nature possess a spirit and then should be worshipped. So this worship is often guided by a shaman, which we'll talk about in or shaman. And key examples of this would be Native American religions, traditional religions in Africa and the South Pacific, which I already mentioned, and the Pacific Islands. So a shaman or a shaman is the religious leader in a lot of animistic religions that is the connection between the physical and the spiritual world. They guide their community in religious worship. They provide answers when people have questions, when people are sick, when they need to ask the spirits for intervention. They have a strong presence in Africa and parts of the Americas, still in the Pacific Islands. Universal religions, like I mentioned before, predominantly are Buddhism, Christianity, Islam, Sikhism, and Baha'i. Ethnic religions, Hinduism, Judaism, Shamanism, and Shintoism, just to name a few. A lot of your traditional religions, like I said, in the Americas, Africa, and parts of the Pacific Islands. There are some issues with ethnic religions today, and going back into at least the 1700s, 1800s, they were having to compete with universal religions such as Islam and Christianity coming in even earlier and competing, whether through trade or conquering. In some situations, you've got this issue of some situations like with Buddhism, it's blended with the ethnic religion, like in Japan, Shintoism blended with Buddhism. It was widely accepted, so you have that blending. Also, in Africa, you have Christianity blending with some traditional African beliefs. So you have Christianity, but it's very different from Christianity practiced other places. So it's not as recognized formally by some of the other branches of Christianity. So you do have that mixing as well. You also have situations where different ethnic religions are butting heads with universal religions in the same geographic region, and it's mostly diffused by migration. For example, Mauritius, which is an island in the Indian Ocean, was inhabited until colonization by various folks. The Dutch are going to arrive there. They're going to bring Christianity. Then later on, they're supplanted by the French, who will bring enslaved Africans there, who bring Islam with them. Then later on, the British will bring Indian workers there to work plantations after they kick the French out. And the Indians are going to bring their Hinduism with them. When the island receives their independence from Britain in 1992, you have got this mixture of Indians who practice Hinduism. You've got Creoles of African descent who practice Islam or Christianity. You have some people of Chinese descent who practice various faiths or no faiths at all. So you have this mixture of different faiths on the same island, and it just shows, and they have butted heads over time because of faith and beliefs. So this is an example of diffusion of different religions and the impact that it's had on people's lives. And lastly, we'll talk about fundamentalism for a minute. Fundamentalism is the intolerance of other religions. It also can be defined as a return to a very strict interpretation of your core beliefs or founding principles. Often we've seen this throughout history when there is confusion or chaos going on in a society or a culture, that people have turned to their religion to gain an understanding or a sense of what's going on. And it often leads to violence within the religious group or against other religious groups that don't have that same value system. For example, in the United States, within Christianity, there are different views on abortion. So some Christians support it, some don't. Those who don't support it have targeted abortion clinics where others have been for it. So that has caused tension, protesting, things like that. You have, within the Muslim community, you have had people who have been upset about the advancement of Western culture within their communities, and that has turned into more violence with bombings and things like that. So 9/11 example, other terrorist attacks in parts of Europe and Africa. ISIS would be another example of more fundamentalism within the Islamic community. But again, these are usually small groups within Hinduism. You have tension right now in India because of more of a nationalist party and allowing some freedoms with a constitutional amendment that's been going on there. But that's creating tension between other groups, particularly the Muslim minority in India. So that has created a little bit of a tension there. So you've got different examples, but this has gone throughout history of tension within various groups. So that's an example of fundamentalism. So we'll talk more about this as we go through our study on religion. So thank you very much.